My name is Lena. I'm 26 years old and I live in Washington. Most mornings start the same. I wake up before the sun fully rises, while the world outside my small apartment is still asleep. I make coffee, strong, just how I like it, and sit on the edge of my bed for a few minutes in silence. There's something comforting about those early moments when no one needs me yet, when the day hasn't demanded anything from me. My apartment is small but warm. A bookshelf leans against one wall, stuffed with old novels, cookbooks I barely use, and journals I never let anyone read. The walls are painted soft beige, and a round carpet I found at a thrift store lies under my coffee table. Everything in here has a story. Everything I own was chosen slowly, like I needed to be sure it would make me feel safe. I leave home at 7:20 a.m. Always. My walk to the office takes 17 minutes if I don't stop at the corner cafe. I often do. The barista there, Jordan, remembers my order. Medium Americano, no sugar, just heart, he jokes every time. I smile, nod, and slip him $1 in the tip jar. The office building isn't tall. It's 3 stories of clean glass and pale stone. Nothing fancy. But I like that. Inside, the lights are soft, the walls are off-white, and everything feels organized. There's a front desk with fresh flowers every Monday and elevators that never jolt. My office is on the 2nd floor, the quietest floor, and my desk is by the window. I love that desk. It's not big or impressive. But from there, I can see the trees sway across the street, feel the morning sun warm the edge of my keyboard, and listen to the soft murmur of the people around me. My job isn't glamorous. I manage scheduling, coordinate files, send polite emails, and track appointments. But what I do matters. People rely on me, gently, respectfully. That's more than I used to have. Across from me sits Emma. She's been working here for over a decade. She wears elegant scarves and always carries mints. She once told me, a scarf makes everything feel better, even Mondays. Emma remembers little things, birthdays, allergies, who drinks decaf, and who needs a moment of silence after a hard meeting. She noticed my quietness right away. "You remind me of someone," she said one afternoon while organizing the snack drawer. "My sister, Nora." She never talked much, but she always knew what mattered. I nodded, unsure what to say. But something in me softened. Emma made me feel seen without asking me to perform. To my right is Lucy. She's 23 and the brightest person I've ever met. Not just in personality, but in energy. Her hair is dyed lavender this month. Last month, it was teal. She brings color into the room, literally and emotionally. She calls me Elle, makes playlists for different moods, and once drew little stars on my sticky notes when I had a tough week. I never told her why that week was hard. I didn't need to. Some things are too tender to share right away, like the sound of my old manager yelling at me in front of a full office, or the time I cried in a supply closet after being blamed for a mistake I didn't make. Or how, for months, I woke up already feeling like I'd failed. Back then, I worked in a place that drained me dry. It was all numbers, noise, and pressure. I was told to be faster, to smile more, to toughen up. I lasted a year and 4 months. I left without a goodbye party. No one noticed I was gone. That's why this new place, this calm, kind, well-lit place, feels like a soft miracle. Mr. Carter, our supervisor, is the kind of man who listens more than he talks. He wears gray sweaters, drinks herbal tea, and has a photograph of his daughter on his desk. Once, I made a small error on a client invoice and expected the worst. But he just looked at me and said, "Thanks for fixing it, Lena. We all have off days." I blinked. That was it. No scolding. No guilt trip. Just trust. Trust takes time to grow. I'm still learning how to believe I deserve it. On my lunch breaks, I sit with Lucy and Emma. We eat at the small round table near the windows. We talk about nothing and everything, favorite meals, dreams we remember, movies we love. Sometimes we just eat in silence, scrolling through our phones. It's comfortable. No one tries too hard. One Friday, I stayed late to finish a report. The sky outside turned golden, then indigo. I looked around and realized I was the last one left. The office was still, chairs tucked in, lights dimmed, air still holding the warmth of the day. I stood up, stretched, and walked to the big window. The city beyond was humming, soft and alive. That's when I realized something simple but powerful. I liked my life. I wasn't rich. I didn't have a big group of friends or a wildly exciting career. But I had peace. I had mornings with quiet coffee, an office where kindness lived in every corner, and evenings where I read under a blanket with no one demanding anything from me. And for the first time in a long time, maybe ever, that felt like enough. Emma and I sat across from each other in the break room, the small round table between us scattered with crumbs and 2 steaming mugs. She always made peppermint tea, and I always stuck to black coffee with too much cream. You know, she said, swirling her spoon slowly, this place didn't always feel like this. We've had bad days. But we decided, as a group, we wanted to keep things light, kind. Mr. Carter especially. He fought for that. I looked at her, surprised. Really? Emma nodded. About 5 years ago, we had someone in upper management who made everyone walk on eggshells. People cried in the bathrooms. But Carter pushed back. He said he'd leave if the culture didn't change. And they listened. He's a quiet kind of leader. That made me like him even more. A man who didn't yell, but still stood up. I glanced toward the door. Lucy poked her head in, her glasses slightly askew, curly hair bouncing. The storm came suddenly, loud and full of wind, rattling the windows of the office just before closing. Emma poked her head in from the hallway. They say it'll last all evening. You should stay a bit until it passes. I nodded. I didn't mind the rain. In fact, I liked it, the way it drowned out everything else, the world reduced to a hum and a rhythm. Everyone else rushed out, umbrellas snapping open. I stayed, turning off lights, organizing files. For the first time in a while, I felt a flicker of something unfamiliar. Not loud, not fast. Just new. Julian joined our small lunch group. He was a good listener, laughed with his eyes, and once shared half his sandwich with Lucy when she forgot hers. He asked thoughtful questions and never interrupted. One afternoon, I caught him reading a book I loved. You're the first person I've seen with that, I said. He looked up, surprised. It's beautiful, isn't it? We talked for 20 minutes, and it felt like no time had passed. Something was unfolding. Slowly. Gently. And I didn't try to stop it. The office held its own kind of magic after hours. Julian started staying late too, though never intrusively. Sometimes we worked silently. Other times, we talked. One evening, we both reached for the printer at the same time. Our hands brushed. I pulled mine back, flustered. Sorry, I said. He just smiled. No need to be. We didn't talk about that moment. But after that, things changed, not louder, just deeper. He started walking me out at night. Holding the door. Noticing when I was quiet and waiting, not filling the space with words. Once, during a light snowfall, he said, "You look happy here." I looked up at him. I am. He nodded. Me too. I found an old letter in my desk drawer one afternoon. It was addressed to a boss I had years ago. One I never had the courage to give. It said everything I'd bottled up, the fear, the pain, the anger. I read it slowly. My hands didn't shake like they used to. I smiled and tore it up. I didn't need that anymore. I had already rewritten my story, in spreadsheets, in coffee breaks, in laughter and peppermint tea. Julian saw the scraps in the bin. Something important? I shook my head. Something old. I don't need it now. He didn't ask more. He didn't have to. Julian brought me a scarf one morning, soft gray wool. I saw it and thought of you, he said. You're always cold. I held it for a long time before putting it on. Thank you. He smiled. It looks good on you. That night, I stayed later than usual, finishing up reports. As I prepared to leave, the power flickered. A storm outside had knocked something loose. The hallway lights were dim, but I wasn't afraid. Julian found me by the stairwell. Thought I'd walk you out. Just in case. We walked quietly, the scarf warm around my neck. At the door, I paused. Thank you. For being kind. He nodded. That's the only kind worth being. Spring came slowly. The trees outside the office bloomed pink and soft. Julian and I shared more, books, walks, secrets. One Sunday, he invited me to the art museum. We spent hours there, wandering through rooms of color and quiet. In front of a painting of a quiet street at dusk, he turned to me. Lena, he said softly, can I take you to dinner? Not as a coworker. My heart didn't race. It didn't panic. It just agreed. Yes, I said. Everything didn't change overnight. The office stayed the same, Carter's slow nods, Emma's calm presence, Lucy's chaos. My desk still had its worn keyboard and half-dead plant. But I changed. I laughed more. I took up watercolor again. I let myself wear earrings. I met Julian's sister and cried during a movie. I let myself be loved. And on one rainy night, with the window cracked open and peppermint tea in my hand, I wrote in my notebook. I made it. I am okay. I am home. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.